And so we're recording now. We're broadcasting live on asksbdc.com. Sunita, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Alan. I appreciate it. Good morning, Heather Lutzy from SBA. She's the Sacramento director, and David Franklin is also with our team today, helping us out. I'm sorry to say, but Scott will not be joining us today, but Wednesday he will be back. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are the Northern California SBDC Finance Center that's presenting this today. This is session 36, which is pretty amazing. Thank you all for joining us today. I know it is a holiday week, and everyone hopefully is enjoying themselves or well following. Presented by Northern California SBDC, we are supported by the SBA and the state of California. This is how we're able to give you no-fee advising. I am part of the Finance Center, and I am the Associate Director of the Finance Center, and we help small businesses get loans. I'm just going to jump into the presentation. We're going to go through disclaimer and such. Not much has changed, so just as an FYI, but I am going to go over some things that we do get asked a lot. So that's kind of the things that I wanted to go over today. Disclaimer, this is our short agenda for today. Disclaimer, of course, things are changing all the time. Still, they change all the time. So as I put this together this morning about 9 o'clock, this is what I saw online, and this is the information that I had. So if it has changed, I apologize that I did not get you that information at this presentation, but we will have it for you on Wednesday. Things are changing all the time, of course. EIDL is open back up again, so please apply. If you were thinking about applying, apply. Sometimes we'll say that some businesses are not acceptable, but honestly, we're not making that call, so why don't you go ahead and apply and let the SBA disaster make that call for all of us to see if you do or do not qualify. Don't hesitate to apply for the EIDL. We are not privy at this point in time to lenders at Main Street for the Main Street program. And we have been saying that for the last few weeks. It's because some lenders want to do this, but they're not sure if they're going to. So once we do get that lender list, we will definitely share it with you. We have gone through this again, but there is still a question that is asked quite often, the PPP Flexibility Act Overview. So if you're funded prior to 6/5, then you automatically are going to get the 5-year term for your loan. If you did not, then you would get the 2-year term. After your 8 or 24 weeks is up, then you would negotiate with your lender on a longer term. So hopefully they will agree to a 5-year term, or if you follow these following expenses, then you may not have to get a loan at all. So if you use 60% or more towards your payroll costs, then you are more likely to get it forgiven. Non-allowed payroll costs have been decreased or increased to 40%. So there is a change. I did take out the changes because they no longer apply. So we just want to make sure that we're remembering 60 payroll, 40 non-payroll. We also have the payroll tax can be deferred even if you receive the PPP, which has changed previously for a few months ago. Recipients have until 12/31/20 to restore FTEs. There should be more information coming out on that. Right now, that's just a blanket statement from the IFR that was submitted, but I do believe that there's going to be more information in regards to that. We do get asked a lot of FTE questions, but we just don't have specifics at this point in time. Any business who received their loan prior to 6/5 has a choice between 8 or 24 weeks for a covered period. If you receive it afterwards, it is 24 weeks. So 6/5 and after, it's 24 weeks. Your first payment is not due until 10 months, which changed from 6 months previously. So just remember, it's 10 months. You get a lot of questions asked all the time. Is interest accrued the day you receive funding? And yes, it is. It starts from the first day. If you get all of your loan forgiven, then it also forgives the interest. So that is not due back. Flexibility income overview. We get a lot of questions in regards to this, and we did go over it quite extensively a few weeks back, but I have had some people email me because they're concerned that people will get confused in regards to an owner employee or self-employed person compared to an employee. This is very specific on what an owner employee or employed individual or general partner is capped at. You're at 8-week cover period, your cap's still capped at the $385,000. If you're going to extend to the 24 weeks, your cap is going to be $20,833 per individual. You do not have the luxury of increasing it to your employee, which their 24-week cap is $46,154. So the caps are different. So please just make sure that you understand that it does have a difference on the application itself. The Main Street program. This is an overview of the Main Street program. I do want to let you know that yes, this deck will be available via the chat. Alan and David will upload it there so that you can have this information readily available. Main Street chat. So the loan ranges go anywhere from $250,000 to $300 million, which is a wide range. And they're still, like I said, trying to get down to the nitty-gritty on this and figure out which lenders. There might be some new lenders today. I don't know if Heather or anybody else might have that information, but as of yet, I don't have any information about any lenders. So what it isn't, Main Street loans are not grants and cannot be forgiven. So it is a loan. How it works, interested businesses will work with an eligible lender. And I can go more into this, but until I think we find out who the lenders are, it'll probably be best just to give this as a reference to you. You can get the deck and review it, but we do want to make sure that you have this information. And once we get the lenders, then we can go more in depth into it. Sorry, there we go. This is also more information in regards to Main Street lending. Scott and I felt that you would want this information just beforehand, just to make sure that it's going to be something that you'd want to get into or not. The 5-county direct loan, it is for Sacramento, Yolo, Placer, and El Dorado and Nevada County. We do have another one as well. Our Sierra SBDC office did give us that information, but unfortunately I did not get a chance to upload it here because I wanted to talk to them more about that. But they have something that is, I believe loan-wise is similar. I don't know about the terms or the rate, but I did change this up a little bit because the term and the fees and the rate are changed from previous weeks. So your loan amount is anywhere from $1,000 to $150,000. The term is from 5 to 7 years, and the rate is as low as 1%. Fees are a $100 application fee, 3% loan fee for the loan amount, and a $250 closing doc fee. This is if you have not received the PPP, or the PPP wasn't enough, or the EIDL, or any of those instances. If it wasn't enough, then if you wanted to get into a loan for 5 to 7 years, this is a good option if you are in these counties. If you need other counties, we can look into that for you as well. So you should give us a call or email us if you need that additional information. SBA support, we do go over this often or every single week, 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, because this is great information. I even have clients right now that were fortunate enough that the business has really remained steady and actually increased, so they're able to buy the building that they're in. Because they're going to be able to buy that building at this point in time, SBA is going to automatically pay the principal, interest, and fees of any new 7A or 504 or microloan funded prior to September 27th, which is going to be a great for them. They'll be able to even get more cash flow since they're not having to pay this for the first 6 months. SBA will also pay on loans that have been funded principal and interest for 6 months for 504 microloans and 7As. This is the disaster loan information right here. This is their phone number. It's 800-659-2955 or disaster customer service at sba.gov. That's great information in case you need to contact them regarding your current EIDL loan. If you want to get reconsidered, the reconsideration email is pdcrecons@sba.gov. If you need assistance with that, because I do understand that some of the letters that you are getting are very generic, please reach out to us and we can try to assist you with that. Or if you're in the San Francisco area, you can email. But it'd be great for you to get with an advisor so they could advise you on that. They may have a little bit more insight, but let me give you the email addresses as well. And then David and Alan can also put this in the chat. SFO mail@sba.gov. Or if you're in the Sacramento area, Heather, is it okay if I give the Sacramento area email as well?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So it's Sacramento_DO@sba.gov. And I am going to hand it off to our SBA representatives. It looks like Carrie Ellenwood is also here with the Sacramento District Office. Sorry, really quick, I apologize. This is a new slide here. These are additional webinars that are going to be going through through July. Sorry, it's a little bit small, but it's going to be part of the deck, and I believe that Alan is also going to put it in the chat area so you can see it a little bit better.
Yeah,
but
this is
more. Yeah, do you want to go over them, Alan? Sorry.
Yeah, I could quickly tell you that we've got a wide range of topics around from HR through some of the ones we've seen before. So like the Ready for Reopen from with HR, the review of the lease negotiation piece, an update on that. We've got some from friends on our restaurant program are doing some fantastic things. Holly Steele is a great name in the hospitality space, and she's one of our advisors. She's going to be doing something on the new customer space for that. Our cash flow one, which was going to be tomorrow, which had to be postponed, is running on the 14th. Getting yourself ready to sell your products on Amazon. We're doing on the 16th, as well as one in Spanish, strategies for helping you move on. Then social media selling. We've got something on diversity and inclusion in the workforce coming through towards the end of the month, and that second part of that ready for Amazon. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. The link is on there, and I'll put it in the chat as well. SBDC events, network calendar. You can see all those things and register for those, and all the various things that are going on and the various centers around the network.
Thank you. Okay. I guess our SBA slide is out of here, but let me go back here. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Heather.
Sure. So just a quick update on the Paycheck Protection Program. Basically, the program is scheduled to sunset tomorrow. So between today and tomorrow are the last days to apply and have the lender obtain the SBA loan number. Keeping in mind that that does take a little bit of time. It is an electronic process. However, if there's any type of hiccups that are encountered, etc., any late arrivals will not be honored. So it's really incumbent upon you as small business owners to ensure that you have applied appropriately and followed up with your lending partner with respect to that product. We do have updated PPP numbers, and with that said, I can just tell you that California is still the largest recipient in both the Paycheck Protection Program as well as the EIDL program. California by far is the largest recipient of both of those funding pools. With respect to the forgiveness portion, we are still awaiting guidance for our lending partners, and there is some updated information on both SBA's website as well as the Treasury's website. There were updated applications posted last week. There are new IFRs, or interim final rules, that are just clarifying points of the CARES Act and in some cases some enhancements. So at this point, I would just say if you were on the fence about applying for a Paycheck Protection Program loan, time is of the essence. And from a standpoint of dealing with a lending institution, you're almost out of time. There are a lot of fintech companies that are approved to provide this financing as well, and those are typically through the internet and electronic, and that may be your best bet at this point in time as far as obtaining a PPP loan. The EIDL transactions are moving forward. As Sunita stated, we reopened the portal for all applicants. There still is quite a backlog, so please be patient with us. But we are working our way through those transactions. And other than that, that's probably the best update that I can give at this moment. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Awesome. So I guess we'll just go straight into questions because we've got a few of them. Not as many as usual, but some good ones.
It's quality, not quantity today, clearly, Sunita.
Correct. We received our PPP funding on May 12th. To get full forgiveness, when do we have to document its use? That's a great question, John. And at this point in time, you should have all that information saved. And until the lenders are really ready to accept the application, we're just going to wait on that. So I'm hoping that you have the documentation showing that your employees were paid, when they were paid, and you're using the 8 weeks that the money was used during that time. That's how I would say, just to keep that all in a folder, maybe on your desktop, or print it out and keep it in a folder, in your office. If you need additional help with that, you can reach out to us at 833 Ask SBDC, and we can assist you with that. We can get you with an advisor so they can help you move through that. But right now, lenders are not accepting the forgiveness application as of yet. I believe it's probably going to take them another couple of weeks, but that is not it's not anything that's going to look badly on you, of course. But we will let you know once lenders start accepting applications, because I believe they'll be reaching out to us to let us know that. And
isn't it like 10 months? The forgiveness is like 10. You can't. The forgiveness period is like 10 months anyway. So they've got until like March to have to submit the stuff and for forgiveness. Is that, and that's if they're early like they are now?
Sure. So, Alan, there's the deferment of 10 months after those funds are utilized. Whether it was the eight weeks, there was previously 6 months, and that's been updated to the 10 months. So you're right. There's plenty of time here, and as Sunita stated, that's not going to be a detriment to the small business, because provided that the information is turned in to the lending institution at the point that they look at that, they've actually got 60 days to review that documentation and then provide it to SBA. Once it's provided to SBA, SBA then has 90 days to review that documentation and concur with the lender's representation of the forgiveness portion. But again, once this occurs, all of the interest that would be accrued on that loan, and mind you, it's only 1%, that would all still be absorbed and part of the forgiveness process. So really, it's not a detriment to our small businesses. But I would again emphasize, as Sunita stated, make sure that you're documenting your files appropriately. And I know at one point in time, the SBDC network was suggesting that the borrowers have a different account to keep track of all of the expenses and how those funds were utilized. I think that that's a really good practice.
Perfect. I'm going to go down to another question, and as Alan stated previously, if you see a question in here and you really like it or it was a question you were going to ask, hit the thumbs up and that pushes that question to the top. So that way we make sure that we do answer it now. I believe we will get through all the questions, but just in case if they start coming in and fast and furious, we may not get to all of them. So let's go. Jean is asking, we applied for the 10K emergency loan and the EIDL. We got the EIDL, but not the, I'm assuming the advance. Are we still entitled to the advance?
Yes, so the way that the advance works is actually, previously we were sending out the advance and it was $1,000 per employee up to a maximum of $10,000. At this point, what my understanding is, based on conversations with the Office of Disaster Assistance, is that the EIDL transactions themselves are being processed in a much faster manner, and that EIDL advance is following the EIDL loan. So just try to be patient. I realize that it's a challenge, but those funds will be forthcoming if you had requested them, and there would have been a box within the application portal that you would have checked to request that advance.
Thank you. John is asking, these questions came pretty early. We did answer them, but we'll just go through it again in case anybody else has the same questions. What expenses qualify for forgiveness? Is it now expenses up to 20 weeks, payroll and rent? It's actually 8 weeks or 24 weeks, John, and it's the same. So now it's split 60-40. So in case anybody else had that question, it is the same items that were previously approved that are still approved. Nothing has changed on that. So you can look at the application, which is at treasury.gov, and it'll show you what is allowed or not. How do we set up automatic payment for the EIDL? Can we do that in advance, or do we have to wait until the first request for payment?
Honestly, I'm not aware of that. I would state that once the payments start, because keep in mind that even when you get your EIDL transaction now, there's still the deferment through December 31st. Payments wouldn't be due until January on those loans. With that said, just hang tight, and the Office of Disaster Assistance will continue to provide guidance with respect to those payments and how they can be made automatically. Sorry, I don't have that information at my fingertips.
Thank you. Let's see here. Paul is saying, I received $30,700 for EIDL last Wednesday. On Thursday, my PPP application was submitted. And the question is, do I want to refi my EIDL with the PPP? I'm not sure which way to proceed and have very little time left to figure it out.
Yeah, you don't have to, I mean, again, this is an individual basis, because your EIDL transaction could have a different use of proceeds than your PPP. The EIDL program is much more inclusive about what those funds can be used for. It's essentially any operating expenses. The PPP has specific expenses that are allowed within that program. And of course, the payroll component, and as Sunita said, that was at 75%. That's now been reduced down to 60% for the payroll component. And then the additional 40% that previously was 25%, that can be used for utilities, mortgage, rent payments, lease payments, any fixed debt obligations. So two separate use of proceeds. In that instance, honestly, I would suggest that you either call the San Francisco District Office or reach out to my office, and we're happy to walk you through what we feel would be the most beneficial for your particular situation, because it is not a one-size-fits-all.
Thank you. We are having questions, quite a few questions in regards to PPP. Somebody's asked, have we heard about P4? Is this true? The other person is also asking, is this going to be extended past tomorrow? And unfortunately, we don't have the answer to those questions. We don't know. I have not heard of P4. They, you know, somebody may be writing about it or it may be on the news, but to be honest with you, I just look on the Treasury website and the SBA website, and that's where I get my information, because I know once it's there, then that means it is true.
Right, that's actually a really good point, Sunita. And keeping in mind that there is a lot of talk, a lot of bills being floated around, one of them being the P4. We do not know, nor can we provide any guidance on that until it is made into law. So from that standpoint, there's an entire process that has to occur before those things are made into law. At this point, we don't have that guidance. We just hear rumors. And again, as Sunita stated, check the Treasury website, check SBA's website, and that would be your best form of information.
Awesome, perfect. And we also get the question, can I get another PPP loan? At this point in time, no, you can't. You can only get one PPP loan, and that's actually written in law. And unless they untangle that and put, I know there's money there, and then extend it, at this point in time, it's still just one. And I know it's difficult. Things have changed so much. And you were trying to go through the money so fast for the 8 weeks and giving bonuses and such to make sure that money was used. And we do understand, and we apologize. We wish we had the answers for you before, but like Heather and many people have said before, they are building the plane as we're flying it. It is definitely the way it has been going. Lori's asking, please go over the EIDL advance payment and how it works. I guess we haven't had that question in a very long time, and probably because people are getting paid out now. They're wondering how it works.
Sure. So the EIDL advance is part of the CARES Act, and that actually came about. It's within the portal, the application process, there's a little button that you would click to ask for the EIDL advance. The advance is a forgivable loan in the amount of $1,000 per employee up to a maximum of $10,000. If you had 10 employees, you would get $10,000. If you had 2 employees, you would get $2,000. So that's basically how that works. And again, those transactions were being processed much faster than the EIDL loans themselves. However, my understanding based on last week's conversations with the Office of Disaster Assistance, that has kind of flipped. And now the EIDL transactions are being processed at a much faster rate than the advances are. So again, we just ask for your patience as we work through the backlog of transactions.
Thank you.
And again, just to reiterate, there's no expectation of that being repaid. So that $10,000 is a forgivable loan. That's just the way that we have to disclose it, simply based on statute. The one thing that I will tell you is that during the PPP process, when you go to request the forgiveness, if you have received both the EIDL advance and a PPP loan, that fund or those monies up to $10,000 are reduced from the forgiveness on the PPP transaction. And the reason for that is that there can't be any duplicate services or duplicate transactions with you can't double dip, unfortunately. So again, if the PPP loan was $100,000 and you applied for the forgiveness, you provided documentation of the $100,000 being spent appropriately under that product, but you also received a $10,000 grant from SBA or forgivable loan under the EIDL advance, that $10,000 would be reduced from that $100,000. So what would remain would be a $10,000 1% loan, because it would revert back to the PPP protocols. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you.
Sure.
Alex is asking for the EIDL advance. There was a problem with an application. The business is a sole prop and used the fictitious business name for the business legal name field. Should they have used their full name instead? I believe if SBA checks with the IRS would find out FMBs as the bank, business bank. Thanks. You know, Alex, please give us a call or email us. And better yet, give us a call, because we need to review the documents and see exactly what you're talking about, and we will get you hooked up with SBA if you need to be, to help you through this process. But let us know right away so that way we can start working on it together.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Sunita. If you realize that you made an error on your application, please do reach out right away so that we can get those errors corrected. And any transactions that are currently in the pipeline that have these anomalies, and one that came up actually this morning was the applicant business through the EIDL portal had input the bank's routing number, but it was the bank's routing number for wire transfers, and that actually put a hold on that transaction, because we have to ensure that we've got accurate information in the system. If there's those types of mistakes, we want to correct those as soon as possible. So please do reach out, and you know, to the SBDC network and to your district office.
And then we'll figure out which office is best going to be able to help you, if it's Sacramento or if it's going to be San Francisco. Let's see here. Doug, how does someone find out the status of their EIDL loan? The phone number and email don't get response.
Again, a great question, and all we can do is sincerely apologize for the backlog of applications, keeping in mind that we've received over 6 million applications in the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. Clearly unprecedented in the history of SBA, and it's, you know, we're doing our best to make our way through those transactions. We have increased staff in both the call centers and with the loan specialists. We have reverted a lot of our staff from FEMA, who previously partnered with us on a lot of disasters. We have reverted different other federal entities to assist us. And again, it just takes a lot of time. So I sincerely apologize. It's just one of those things we've got to make our way through. But if you can't get through, please reach out to your district office. We will do our best to assist you. We do have some contacts that potentially we could reach out to internally that maybe you wouldn't have the access to. But again, we appreciate your patience in this.
Thank you. Russ, I received the PPP on 5/6. Do I have 8 or 24 weeks to use it? You have either. So 8 or 24 weeks. So you're ticking along here. If you haven't used that money, then you may want to extend it to 24. But if you need more information, please reach out to us. This is just a quick answer. I don't know all of the ins and outs of your business or how you're using the money, or, you know, if the business is up and running. So there's a lot more questions that go into just this short question, or a lot more questions and answers that need to go along with this, Russ. So please reach out to us and we would be happy to help you. We appreciate you being here. Okay. Margaret is asking, is there a deadline date set for the new EIDL application?
Other than the end of the year, no. That portal is still open, and until we run out of funding, we don't anticipate that will close.
Okay. And so, Margaret, we always suggest that businesses, of course, reach out to their partners, other investors, to make sure that they want to get into a loan situation, and then also to evaluate their business and see if it's time to apply. It may take a while for them to get the loan. Some people seem to be getting them faster than others. So really, that's a business decision that they need to make pretty quickly here, in case the money does end up running out again, or the portal ends up closing again, which we don't have any information on that, but just saying, just in case. Carrie is asking, EIDL and advance. If we do not want to accept the EIDL loan, do we need to notify anyone of our decline for the loan? Also, we want to return the advance now versus pay it back upon forgiveness. how do we do this? And I do have the information for that. So if you want to email us at asksbdc.com, I will get that information out to you. I'll give it to our call center. So that way they have it handy for you to send out. And it is the one, Heather, that you provided to Leslie. So is that
Correct.
still?
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Yes, I will have that for you. Please, Carrie, email us and just say Sunita said you would send me something in regards to returning the money. Thank you, Carrie. Terry is saying, I will advance. Sorry, let me read this really quick. We have heard President say that the I will advance is a grant and that it is not a grant, but will be forgiven. Is it forgiven or is it taxable? It is a forgivable loan. They're not necessarily calling it a grant. Is it taxable? That I cannot say for sure. If you do use the money though for business expenses, you can't then write off those expenses like you would on any of the PPP. So the taxable portion of it, I don't know for sure. Heather?
Check with your accountant or the IRS. We're not equipped to give tax advice. So definitely best to check with your accountant on those.
Thank you. Let's see here. Salgu says, I am a sole prop, submitted my EIN number back, but my bank account is connected to my social security number. Will there be an issue getting the EIDL grant or advance amount deposited to my bank? There very well could be, because you should have, or I don't know. It depends on how your taxes are filed. Are you using your social security or are you using your EIN? So I would reach out to us so that way we can review your tax documents to see if that's going to be an issue or not. And if it is going to be an issue, then definitely you would need to contact SBA Disaster right away and have them correct it. Do you think that that's the right course, Heather?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Richard is asking, this is an ILO question. I am a sole prop filing Schedule C. I am planning on applying for the EIDL loan. What should I use for cost of goods? My expenses I used on my Schedule C. If you don't have cost of goods, then you wouldn't put in anything there.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, that's a really good point, because what we've seen of late is a lot of, and in particular on a sole proprietor, them putting their revenue and then the cost of goods is the exact same as their revenue, and therefore there's no loss. There's no economic harm in that scenario. So the loan amount would be a zero. You're not really declined, but you're not entitled to a loan. So be very, very careful on how you apply for these transactions. Cost of goods sold is just that, cost of goods sold. If you are a service business, you don't have cost of goods sold. So just, yeah, try to keep that in mind. And again, the SBDC is a great resource in trying to assist you in navigating through these questions in the application.
Perfect. And I have heard in the past, people were advising to put all your expenses there and your cost of goods, and that was not the correct way. And that's a lot. That's, I believe, is one of the reasons why a lot of people got declined. And you know, when it's asking for cost of goods, it's literally asking for cost of goods. If it was asking for expenses, it would have asked for expenses in another line. But that's all it wants to know. So it makes it a lot easier for you, Richard, to fill this document out. If you need additional guidance, please reach out to us. The information is on the screen as we speak. Catherine, as a nonprofit, we do not have collateral or assets we own. For an EIDL application, is there an amount we could still seek despite the nature of our business?
Yes, so the transactions really are not based on collateral, so you don't have to worry about that. What's your lost revenue? That's what we're looking at, and that's what the EIDL loans are based off of. So, I mean, if there is an economic injury, which is the name of the program, Economic Injury Disaster Loan, then please, you know, by all means apply. there's no downside to it. Just as with the Paycheck Protection Program, there's really no downside to it, because if it can incorporate and absorb some of your expenses and keeping your employees employed, then why not? And again, a forgivable loan. So,
right. Like we stated in the beginning, apply and let SBA Disaster make the call if you do or do not qualify. You know, if you're reviewing this with an advisor or an accountant or someone that says that you're not going to qualify, they're not the beholder. SBA Disaster is. So if you want to apply, apply. Janet is asking, EIDL received this email memo from SBA on March 21st and have not heard anything since. Should I just resubmit the application now? Memo that she received was your SBA business application, starting with the 2, status has been changed to received and review on March 31st, 2020.
So the previous guidance that we were giving out, if you had applied and you received an application number that started with a 2, we had asked you to reapply. So by all means, please go through the portal now and reapply, and your applications will be matched up. There was a change in the systems that were being used with the applications, and the older system was providing those application numbers with a 2. So please do go in and reapply with an application starting with a 3, and then circle back to your district office and let us know so that we can internally tag that and follow up for you on that application.
So if you're in the San Francisco area, you'll email the San Francisco office. Or if you're in the Sacramento area, please email the Sacramento office. And David will put that on the chat again so that you can have it there readily available for you. The other thing, Janet, if you want the EIDL advance, please make sure you check the box and put your correct banking information there. So that way there's no issue with that. So if you want the advance, please click the box and say you want the advance and provide your business banking information there or your banking information there. Cherie is asking, how will interest be dealt with on the PPP if forgiveness paperwork is delayed? I don't really want to pay interest for months on funds that are determined not to be forgivable. That is a great question.
Yeah, I mean, the lenders are not in a position right now to accept an application for forgiveness because the agency hasn't come out with guidance for them. So from this standpoint, you're still in the deferment period, even if you were, you know, approved and dispersed your funds on day 1, you would still be in the deferment. So there's still plenty of time for this. Again, just please document your file appropriately, document your payroll expenses, your debt obligations, your rent, mortgage, lease payments, etc. And obviously, the agency is the guidance is forthcoming from the agency, is what I should say rather. And once the lending institutions have that information, they'll begin to accept those forgiveness applications. I realize that you don't want to get stuck for paying the interest on the transactions, but at the same time, you're still in the deferment period. So we've definitely come out with the forgiveness guidance prior to the next 10 months.
Okay, so Sunny, we recently opened in our county on June 17th, but can only open at 50% capacity. We heard it will likely take a year to get a vaccine. When we get funded for our EIDL, I was told that if we need more funding, we can request it. How do I request more EIDL funding?
Again, we're building the plane as we're flying it, you guys. So the only thing that I can tell you is just reach out to your district office. You can send an email to the disaster customer service. At this point in time, I am unaware of us accepting additional applications for increased loan amounts, but that is something that could be forthcoming. So again, I apologize we don't have that information at the ready, but stay tuned.
And we'll get that to you as soon as we can once we get the information. Let's see here. I have DocuSigned my EIDL loan docs 3 weeks ago, but have not received the funds. When should I expect the funds?
Well, you should have definitely got them 3 weeks ago if you did your DocuSign 3 weeks ago. So clearly there's some type of a hiccup someplace. If you could please reach out to your district office, we can then find out where the delay is. So whether you're a San Francisco business or San Francisco territory, there are 14 counties, or the Sacramento, 22 counties, please reach out to the appropriate district office and we will try to guide you.
Okay, Trang is asking, who can we contact regarding questions for a denied EIDL? You can contact our office, the SBDC office, give us a call. We will review your documents and see what correction needs to be made. If we need additional information, then we can reach out to Sacramento or to San Francisco to get that additional information. So we did go over the cost of goods. If you don't have any, then that should be zero. So please give us a call and we can help you out.
Right. And then Sunita, I think one of the slides that you had showed the PDC recons email.
Yes.
So if you denied and you are absolutely certain that it's a mistake on your entry, please reach out to the PDC recons email box, putting your application number in the subject line, and that will be requesting a reconsideration.
Perfect. Will they also give us more information in regards to the decline reason? Because sometimes it's very generic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the PDC recons can give you that information, or again, reach out to your district office and we'll do our best to assist you with finding out exactly why the decline occurred. A lot of times if there's just inconsistent information, keeping in mind that we are getting a lot of applications that are fraudulent. And if there are a lot of questions with respect to your particular application, it could just be that's what had occurred. They realized or thought that it was, a fraudulent application.
Okay, good to know. Let's see here. Lori's asking, my PPP is exhausted in 5 weeks and the EIDL funds exhausted as well. Will the 31,000 be forgiven or just the 27,000? Lori, please reach out to us because I'm not sure which is which and how you spent the money. So please reach out to us and that way we can help you figure that out. Are there specific expenses I can use for EIDL?
So again, a great question. EIDL is so different than the PPP program. The economic injury disaster loan is really to be used for operating expenses. So anything to have to do with your business with the operating expenses, and whether that be working capital, inventory, lease payments, mortgage payments, whatever the case. You just want to ensure that if you've applied for both the PPP as well as the economic injury disaster loan, that you don't use the same use of proceeds on both transactions. If they're being used for different purposes, fantastic. But the EIDL is much more inclusive with respect to the use of proceeds.
Somebody is asking if we know any lenders that are still accepting the PPP application, and I believe gatewayfsb.com is, and Industry is, but I know a lot of banks have closed out because it is so close. So, I mean, definitely try.
What you can do is go to the SBA website or Treasury website, and there is a list of lenders there. You type in your zip code, and it will appear with a list of lenders. You can also go to SBA.gov and /lender match, and you can be matched with a lender in your particular area or region that is still providing that, that product. But again, time is really of the essence. If you've waited this long, I'm hesitant to say it, but you've got, 48 hours here, and you've really got to get on it.
So a gentleman is asking, or person is asking, is it true that now we have till December to spend PPP money on eligible expenses? PPP loan was received this month and will get used in June and July payroll. Can we use EIDL smaller amount for part of August payroll?
Yeah, again, if you're not using the same line items for each of those programs, then you're good. And yes, the PPP did get extended from 8 weeks to 24 weeks. So that's the covered period, and that goes all the way through December. So, yes. What else you got?
Judy is saying, I usually pay myself a tax draw separate from personal draw to pay for estimated taxes. And I use the PPP for estimated tax payments for the 8-week period. Judy, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it sounds like if you are typically paying yourself 2 different ways, I would be hesitant to advise you on this call on how you should be utilizing the PPP program. It's really going to be dependent on how you've done it previously, and your estimated tax. I mean, the PPP program is not supposed to be supporting the estimated taxes. If you apply for the EIDL program, that potentially could.
But Judy, once you pay yourself, and if that's usually what you do, is you pay yourself and you're paying yourself, it's part of your pay. You've written yourself a check and saying it's paid, and then if you use it for expenses, personal expenses or such, then you can use it as normal. But to say that you're going to pay yourself and it goes to the estimated taxes exactly, then that is not the correct use of the PPP. Is the 5-county direct loan program different from the EIDL and the PPP? Yes, it is, Russ. It is not the same. It is not an SBA loan. It is actually an EDA loan, and it is completely different. We'd love to find out more. Russ, give us a call, and we will get you with an advisor, and they will be able to help you gather your documents. Unless you are an advisor, then you would get all of your documents together for your particular clients, and that way to see if they will be able to qualify or not. You can reach out to us at 833 or direct your clients directly to us, and we can assist them. Jennifer, I've been asked if business credit card balances can be paid off with EIDL money since they're business-specific expenses and not a loan or a credit line. Paid off, Jennifer, is the caveat there. You could pay payments with your EIDL. I believe there is a caveat, though, if those expenses were incurred during this period, like covered period, or during this period after February 15th, if you had to purchase masks and those things, that could be paid off. Is that correct, Heather? I know in the past we've I think Heather might be stuck.
You know what, I still have audio, but my video went blank, so okay. I'm trying to log back on. Please bear with me, and I'm so sorry that distracted me, so I did not hear that question.
No worries. It says if I've been asked if business credit card balances can be paid off with EIDL money since they're business-specific expenses and not a loan or a credit line.
So it's really, the EIDL program is not meant to pay off debt. It's not meant to refinance debt. What it's meant to do is actually cover the payments for the operating expenses. So if by chance you've got, you know, the payments at 6 months and you make those 6 monthly payments within those months, that would be appropriate. If you made the 6 months payments at month 1, that is not an appropriate use of proceeds. Keeping in mind that the PPP program is much more restrictive on the use of proceeds, but the EIDL transactions could still be audited. So I don't want to mislead or misguide anybody, but the appropriate use of funds on that product would be to make those 6 monthly payments.
Perfect. Alex is asking for a business who reported 5 employees to the EIDL application in advance. If a bank deducts $10,000 instead of $5,000 from the PPP loan, are we able to require the bank to only deduct 5 instead of 10? And that is correct. If you've only received 5 for the advance, then they can only deduct the 5. So you would have to get together with your bank to make sure that that is corrected, and you will also provide them with the documentation showing that you only received the 5,000. Does the PPP loan automatically extend to 24 weeks if we have not used all of our PPP funds? As the way it is now, it does appear to be extended to 24 weeks automatically, but I would reach out to your lender to make sure that they are aware that you're going the 24 weeks instead of the 8, just in case. And if you're unable to get a hold of your a lender, then of course you can still go, but I would to the 24 weeks, but I would always try to loop them in. Linda's asking, our EIDL application number started with the 3. Do we still need to reapply? When did you apply, Linda? I guess is the question. So please reach out to us and let us know when you applied. And if you have not heard back yet, then we should definitely be reaching out to SBA for you. If it's been several months, then or a few months, then we should probably look into it. So go ahead and give us a call and we'll try and help you out. Linda, okay, here you are again. We received the forgiveness paperwork from our bank a couple of weeks ago. Have they changed? Yes, they have. The application actually changed last week. So yes, they have changed. I would hold on. We went through the changes on the beginning of the slide and you can take a look at that to see what did change. It's now 60-40 rather than 75-25. See, people are asking if they should apply or not for EIDL or PPP, and honestly, apply. We keep saying apply. You know, if you're concerned you're a K1 or if you're a nonprofit, or if you're, you know, different types of business, apply and let the bank, the lender for the PPP, or the SBA disaster make that call for you. Do not let that stop you if it appears that you would not qualify. Let them, because things change all the time. They may open it up to your specific industry.
Right. And then quite honestly, with the EIDL, why not apply for that advance? If you're in business, why not? That there's no downside to that.
Great advice for that, for sure. For EIDL is also June 30th a deadline to receive the application number. We just applied on last Thursday, and no, it is not 835. 835, please give us a call so that we can hook you up with an advisor to answer all your questions. You have a lot of them, and I believe that you need more assistance than just these questions here. We really want to make sure we guide you through correctly for your specific instance here, your specific employment, just everything, because I think that you need absolutely more help than just what we're giving you here. So please give us a call and we will hook you up with an advisor. Jennifer, I've been asked if business credit and balances can be paid off with EIDL money. We already went through that. I just forgot to click it off. Graham, PPP money was spent on payroll, but we did not pay our PGE yet for the period. If we are doing the 8-week period, is it too late to pay the PGE and have it forgiven? Let's see here. The dates, I don't know when you received the money. So if it was incurred during your covered period, then yes, you can still pay them. You can still use those funds towards your PG&E. But Graham, reach out to us so that way we can make sure when you receive the money, to make sure it was incurred during that 8-week period or covered period to make sure that you're going to get, maximum forgiveness. We got the initial EIDL money, and SBA has sent a loan application for pre-approval amount. If I do not plan to apply for the EIDL loan, do I need to do anything or just ignore the application email from SBA?
Our preference is really for you to respond to the email from SBA, and if you're not interested, say you're not interested, because those funds can then be reallocated to another business in need. So please do follow up on that. Don't just ignore it.
Perfect. Lori is asking, PPP, sole prop, realtor, no employees, received $27,800. Is maximum $2,833 can be paid to self if client does 24 weeks? Correct. How does she pay herself over the 24 weeks? Normally writes herself a check when she sells a house. She can pay herself on a weekly basis, or at the end, or in the beginning, or, you know, she's self-employed, so if she wants to take 2 checks, she could take 2 checks, or 1 check, or 24 checks. Maria, I am currently starting a 504 loan process and concerned if I accept a EIDL loan, which I have been approved for, the EIDL funds will have a negative effect on my application. Yeah, Maria.
No,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say they would not have a negative effect on your application. And actually, that's a really good point that I don't believe has been brought up yet, is the CARES Act provided for a debt relief component to any current SBA lien holder loan. So a 7A, a 504, a microloan, all of those will have 6 months worth of principal, interest, and fees paid for by SBA. Also, any newly originated SBA loan program until September 27th of this year has the principal, interest, and fees all paid for a 6-month time frame. So truly, it's a fabulous time for you to think about, you know, purchasing a building or purchasing large equipment, or, you know, moving or getting any type of government guaranteed loan program at this point. It's, you know, 6 months paid for, nothing that you have to do at all. So again, just want to throw that out there. We hadn't talked about that previously.
Thank you. See here, Christina is asking, can either funds be used to pay car payments? Your EIDL can pay your car payment if that's what you usually use it for, but if it's a car that you just purchased and you've never used that money before to pay a car payment, then I don't believe you can. It has to be debt that it was incurred prior to 2/15/2020. So
It really depends. Obviously, it has to be a business vehicle because these are business proceeds, not personal use. So a lot of caveats with that. That's not just a black and white answer.
Yeah, so if you need more information, please reach out to us. Does the SBDC have resources available to help with startups looking for financing? Yes, we do, Willie. Just please reach out to us and we can help you. There's a lot that goes into a startup, and a business plan, projections, a lot of pre-work needs to go into this, but yes, we would love to be able to help you or your clients. Let's see here, Natalie, I have a client who has a full-time employee who has been unable to work a full week due to children issues. He typically is off on Fridays, sometimes more days. When his wife has to work and he needs to go home, will this affect their PPP FTE count since he is not working a full week or pay period? Can he be paid for hours that he isn't working? He can be, Natalie, but this is the thing, is that you just need to document it, and it is per the employee's choice to not work the full hours that they previously used to work because of childcare or other issues with COVID. So as long as you document it, you're not going to get dinged on that per the safe harbor and the application. So I'd review the application again, Natalie, just to get refreshed on it and to see what you can and cannot do. But I believe this does fall into the 5 or 6 different categories that we have gone over previously. Okay, these are some doozies coming up here. They're just very long. Anil asked, I got approved for EIDL and picked the loan amount about a month ago. We are a consulting service business. We do not have any active work at this time due to clients delaying signing of a new contract and not sure how we can use the EIDL funds. We have received a follow-up message from EIDL attorney advisor to DocuSign the agreement to move to funding. What is the process to decline funding at this stage? If we have accepted loan but can't use the funds and don't want to end up with more debt?
You can simply respond back to the emails that you're getting and let them know that you want to either put your application on hold temporarily or to decline it altogether. So that's completely fine.
Perfect. Yuri is saying my original PPP 8 weeks will be over July 4th. Should I just wait for my lender to contact me when the new forgiveness guidelines are finalized, or should I let them know that I want to use 24 weeks instead? You can let them know that you want to use the 24-week cover period, but also make sure that you're keeping all your documentation. So that way you're not running around for it once your 24 weeks is up. For that information. So please put it to the side, get in contact with your lender. You may or may not be able to get in contact with them. Just really depends on which lender you used for your PPP loan. But like we said before, we will keep you advised of any new or updated changes. Graham, we are sole prop owning a motel and grocery store. We applied for the grocery store, but not the motel, is losing lots more money. Can we use the EIDL money for both businesses? Graham, we have talked about this before. I do remember this specific question. Please reach out to us. I did state that if you receive money for one business, it should be used for that business only. So no, you can't use it for both the businesses. So you need to apply for the other business and for EIDL. Portal is open. I suggest you do that. If you need more information, please give us a call so that way we can work with you individually. Heather, do you have any other?
No, I think that's sound advice.
Okay.
Definitely.
Perfect. And 835, I would definitely call us because this is, that's a doozy of a question. Looks like we have answered 74 questions so far. We don't have any more questions in the queue. We don't get another question here in the next minute or so, then we shall call it a day. We'll give you another minute or two or a minute. We did answer quite a bit of questions, and they're really good questions today. Lots of different questions as well. So that's great because we get more information out there for you. Okay then, David, it looks like we are all done for the day. Thank you so much, Heather and Carrie and David. Oh, okay, people are saying thank you to us and thank you.
So close.
We do find the required documentation list to keep for the PPP loan. It is on the application, actually, on the forgiveness application, which you can find on treasury.gov and click COVID or SBA.gov as well. So that information list is there. Can I use EIDL loan to change our business model? We need more information, and no, really, because I don't understand what business model means. If you want to create a brand new business, then no, because that's not what the EIDL is used for. The EIDL is used to keep your business going.
Maybe it's pivoting from one type of offering to another. If you're a massage therapist and can't do that, maybe you can use the EIDL loan to pivot to doing webinars as a...
No.
No, okay.
It is for that specific business only, to keep that business going. Then you would just pay back that money. You know, if they wanted to return it, then they can return it and pay back that money. Thank you so much for your help. Where do I find required documents? Answered live. Answered. Cancel. Okay. Muchas gracias to you too, Maria. Thank you. That's about all the Espanol I know. I know a little bit more, but that's about it. When do clients get copies of loan docs and payment info?
They should get all that at the signing table with your lender on a PPP loan or through the portal if they're dealing with an EIDL transaction.
And if you were looking for lenders in general, then you can go to the SBA.gov website and they'll give you a lender list for regular 504 7A loans. If you need more information, please reach out to us. If our business always pays a year's worth of bills at a time, and we do still do that with EIDL, no. I mean, not normally. You would just do it on a monthly basis because now you're paying things off. So I would not do that, and I wouldn't even know how you would pay utilities or anything like that a year in advance. If you need more information, please reach out to us and we can guide you through it. But I think that's it. Everyone else is pretty much saying thank you. So thank you very much. We appreciate your time and we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. We will not have a Friday session because it is Independence Day and we will all be celebrating Independence Day that day, and we hope that you get to as well. So we will see you Wednesday at 10:30. Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you, Carrie, and thank you, David, and thank you, Alan, who's not here right now. But we look forward to seeing you guys all again on Wednesday.
Perfect. Thanks so much, you guys.
Hi, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.